Hello, I'm Elijah Henderson from Cryptid Studies Institute.
And I'm Johnny Henderson from Cryptid Studies Institute. Guys, tonight we come to you with a very special video, or actually it's more of an audio interview that we're conducting. Now, about a year ago, we done a video called The Bloodthirsty Beast of LBL. And we're somewhere about 75,000 views now, so a lot of people have been watching it, and it seems that we got some things right, and it seems that we got some things possibly wrong. And we're here tonight to clear the air. You know, you can never drink from a fountain until the waters are unmuddied. So we want to make sure that we are always completely honest with you. We've always told you that we would never lie to you. We personally believe, as Christians, that the Bible says that all liars will have their part in the lake of fire.
Absolutely.
So we have no intention of ever intentionally lying to you. We also believe that the Bible says that there's wisdom in a multitude of counsel. And that brings us to where we are now. Around the end of December, right around Christmas time, in fact, we were vacationing over in East Tennessee at Standing Stone State Park. And on our way home, we were looking at the comments in our LBL video, and a gentleman who went by the name of Tyler had made some comments about the attack and the death of the family in the LBL park. And he seemed to have a lot of information that we'd never heard before. And we asked him to contact us to tell us how he come into that information. Well, through a period of weeks and months, we started carrying on these conversations with him, and he told us more and more. And he claims that he was not only a witness to the attacks, but in fact a survivor. And at first we were very skeptical. I mean, in fact, we could be hoodwinked now. We don't know, but he in fact seems to be a very honest, decent man. And we want to at least let you hear his story and let you decide if you believe that he's telling the truth or if you don't. We promised you that we would always share any information we got, and that's what we're trying to do now. We want to let you hear everything that's out there. If we thought this man was outright lying, there's no way we'd bring it to you. But some of the things that he said really fills in some gaps in the story. And we think that you should be able to hear that. So we started asking around, asking some people, how is the best way that we should present this man to the public so that he can get his story out there. Some people told us to just turn around and run from this story, that we did not even need to be reporting on such a thing, that we've been sort of backdoor threatened over it. We've been strongly advised by good friends whose opinions we truly, truly respect.
Yes.
And we thank you for that good counsel. But we also remember our commitment to you, that we promised that we would always bring you anything that we come across. We also promised you that we would never charge for information. I know some people do that, but that's not our thing.
No.
We don't have an OnlyFans. We don't have a Patreon, or however you pronounce it.
We don't ask for anything for a PayPal, anything of that nature.
No, we just try to do our videos and bring you any information that we have, and we'll continue to do that. Now, having said that, tonight we're going to interview this man who revealed to us that his real name is Roger, and he wants to get this story off his chest. So we're going to present that tonight and let you make the decision. Whether you believe it or not, we have nothing to gain from it. In fact, if some of the people we've talked to are truthful, we have everything to lose. We've been told that we could be falsely accused of a number of child-related crimes, or being people involved in anti-political movements or any number of horrific things. We've been told that my wife, who has cancer, that if we anger the wrong people in politics with this story, that her money could be, her insurance could be snatched away, and all these things. And we were almost concerned about presenting it. But Roger says that through it all, he's never once been threatened by the government, having been a survivor who knew about him, who knows about him. And so we feel comfortable at least allowing him to share his story. And I hope that you guys will give him a chance and listen. And like I said, it's up to you to decide if you believe him or if you don't. But we're not going to hide information. We've got good friends in the cryptid realm that thinks that perhaps we should just let this story die, and we're happy to tell it as much as we know and to let you guys make up your own mind. I will say that a lot of his information is historically consistent. He's described the landscape and many other aspects of the story.
The weather patterns, the day, the hour.
In fact, we're coming up on the anniversary of it, and that's why he really wants to tell this story now on the anniversary to kind of honor the family that was lost. So, with your indulgence, we're going to present Roger. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Johnny Henderson with Cryptid Studies Institute.
And I'm Elijah Henderson with Cryptid Studies Institute.
As all of you know, somewhere near a year ago, maybe 10 months, I think, we made a video on the beast of LBL, and we told the story as well as we knew how, with all the information that we had. And I think that we got some things right, and I believe, like we said in the introductory video, we got some things wrong. And around December, we were contacted by a gentleman after he had made a comment or two on our video, and he had some information that I'd never heard before, and it seemed to be very accurate, that a lot of people didn't know. So I asked him to contact us if he had all this information, and he did. And we've been talking, and we don't know if this man's telling the truth or not. We weren't there. But he seems very truthful to us, and we believe that you have a right to hear the information and make up your mind for yourself what you are going to believe. Now, this man seems to have no loftier aim than to try to put to rest certain rumors about this story and to let people understand that this was a real family and real lives were lost. And he'd like these people to have the dignity and respect that is due any American family. Any family, as a matter of fact. So here to set the record tonight is Roger. Roger, welcome to the show.
Hello, Roger.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, Roger, these people are about to hear something they've never heard before that's going to really be shocking in some circles. Some things that they've probably never heard or associated with this story, But you're telling us that this is the unadulterated truth.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's awesome. Roger, why did you decide to reach out to us and tell us your story?
It's time. I've never really done much research on any of this, even after the event happened. I just kind of kept closed up, and I just didn't want to, talk about it. Anybody else wouldn't in this situation, but I'm not old by any means, but I'm getting up there in age, and it's just been eating at me, and I think it's just time that people know the truth. I'm just and just some of the the disgusting details that people have been saying what happened, and it's just really got to me. And I just want people to know what the real truth is and what really happened. And like you said, these are human beings. This isn't this story shouldn't be glamorized in any way.
That's so true, Roger. I'd like to clear up first of all too. Now, we have not paid you in any way for your story. You've not paid us in any way for our story. There's no money to be made here, only the truth.
Absolutely. I wouldn't want anything even if somebody did offer it to me. Absolutely not.
Okay, and after this is over, Roger, if it's okay with you, I know you can disable the comments and things of that nature, but if anyone wants to ask you questions, I'll leave the comments open, like the underneath the video,
The YouTube comments,
where they can respond to you, and if you want to respond to them, you can. Now, for your own protection, you contacted us under the name Tyler at the time.
That's correct.
Would that be the name that you would respond back under, or do you have an account of your own that you would like to use?
I would go ahead and respond to Tyler.
Okay, so there you have it, people. If you have a question or something and you want to contact Roger, then he'll respond back to you under the name of Tyler if he so desires. But since we've been talking, the other people have tried to get us to tell your story, and we've said all along, this is your story to tell the way you want to when you were ready. Now, we were talking the other day and come to the realization that the anniversary of this incident is just days away. And so now is the right time to tell it. So, Roger, in your own words, with as much detail as you can, tell us all about the family, how you got to know each other, and the course of events that led up to the incident and the incident itself.
Okay. Well, we first met, it would have been Christmas of 1981, and my relatives have some land in LaGrange, Indiana. It's backed up to kind of a wildlife refuge there. And there was like a Class B motorhome. It looked kind of like a van, but yet it was a motorhome that was parked there. And that was kind of odd, and kind of went over and introduced ourselves to the people, and that's kind of how we originally met, and got to know their names. And the father's was named Levi. The wife was named Diane, and he called her Lizzy, though, so I don't know if that was a nickname or her actual name. And the son, Stephen, was 13, and that's the one I kind of took to. He was just a couple years younger than me, and we kind of, fished, taught, stuff like that. And the girl was named Connie, and he called her Fanny Girl. Well, that's getting to me already. Sorry, guys.
I'm so sorry. You take your time.
Yes, take all the time you need, brother.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, the rumors and stories that are out there just kind of eat at me. But anyway, and that was over Christmas vacation. We kind of, just got kind of know each other a little bit, and after we were done with Christmas, with my relatives there, we just kind of went on our way. And so fast forward, it had been February of 1982, went back to revisit, and of course I was kind of wondering about him, to be quite honest. So I went up over there, and I had a little mini bike there at my relatives. I'd ride around back there, and sure enough, they'd moved to a different part of that refuge area. But I found them, and over about a week's time, we got to know each other even better, and the parents were kind of strict, so without getting myself in trouble, I'd sneak the younger ones, candy and gum and stuff like that. They really didn't like them to have that type stuff, so the reason being, I don't know. So then again, left, and fast forward to, it had been April 1st, and that was 1982. And my relatives that I was going to see, they were aging. They were getting up there in years, and I was supposed to kind of be there helping them. And we were actually in LaGrange, Indiana at the time, and we drove and driving down the particular street, and I seen Stephen out in the front of this little white house, and next to it was parked a great big brand new motorhome. So we pulled back around and chatted for a while, and he told me, that they kind of planned on living in that, and I guess that's when I kind of started asking a little bit more questions, and come to find out they were part of the Amish community at one time there in LaGrange, and I cannot really tell you the truth why they left. I just don't know that. Stephen told me a few things, but I'd rather not, speak about those things because they're pretty ill. So anyway, we got to talking and found out that they were going to be leaving and trying the new motorhome out and everything, make sure everything works in it. And we talked about that for a little bit. Again, I went back to the relatives, and it was the next day. There was a knock on the door, and it was Levi and Stephen. And after some small talk, the dad asked on Stephen's behalf if I'd like to go with him. And I was like, wow, that was kind of sudden. But I had to take some time to get a hold of my parents and so forth, which I did, and they gave me the okay. I could do it, and that was the first time I found out, where we'd be going. And I didn't even know anything about Land Between the Lakes or anything like that. All I know is they said that they were going to a camping area that was down by Tennessee and Kentucky area.
How old were you?
I was 15.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. And I guess we packed things up. I helped him pack more stuff up into the motorhome. Absolutely beautiful motorhome for the time. It was a brand new 1982 Holiday Imperial, I believe, was the actual name of it. And they also had a little Chevette, I think it was, that they used for a tow vehicle. So anyway, helped him get everything ready, filled the thing up full of water, clothes, food, about everything you could think of. And we left April 7th, the fateful day. Excuse me. It was, I think we left between 9-10 o'clock in the morning. And on the way there, we stopped once for fuel, I believe. And most of the time, we were pretty well occupied as kids. I mean, we were playing cards and board games and things like that. So to be quite honest, I didn't remember much of the actual driving trip. I don't think it was that long. I mean, it was just a good day's drive, if I remember right. And do you want to talk about when we got there then, or?
Yeah, anything you think is notable. Tell everything that you can.
Well, I remember us pulling in the camping area, and again we were still at the table looking out the window, so I wasn't real aware or really trying to look for anything until we got to the end of the campground, and that's when Levi stopped, and then we had to unhook the tow vehicle first so he could back that up, then pull the motorhome ahead, then back the motorhome in. This is where it gets bad, guys.
Take all the time you need, Roger.
And there's one one thing I want to point out too, we weren't there long enough to do any exploring or anything like that. We just basically pulled in. It was just getting dark, or dusk, so I'd say 5-ish, 6 o'clock, I guess, maybe. And after we got everything all set up, the motorhome had self-levelers. There was nobody leveling the underneath, trying to level them or anything like that. You opened up the passenger or the driver's side door. That particular motorhome had that, and behind the seat was a panel which had all the switches and everything. And the only thing that was manually done was they had to unhook a safety hook on each of the jacks, just so for travel purposes. But that was it. And they did that with a long metal rod they kept hanging by the main door. Got all that set up and everything, and they went, Stephen and Levi went, I suppose 100 foot, maybe a little bit more, down the back of the motorhome to get some wood. He just had a short double-headed axe that he used, and I was inside. And he told me that I could go ahead and do some target shooting if I wanted to. And so I had there was a 410 crack barrel, single shot shotgun, and I had some soup cans ready to go that I was going to take out. And the shotgun was laying on the sofa that folded down into a bed. And I could hear some muffling, like somebody was saying something in a loud voice towards the back of the camper. And you remember, it was still a little bit chilly, so we did have the doors closed. And all of a sudden, the driver's side door of the motorhome popped open, and behind the door is where Levi kept a 20 gauge pump shotgun. And this is where it all just happened so fast. Heard the yelling, came around front of the motorhome. Stephen was being attacked by this thing, and Levi shot and hit Stephen, and he hit this thing in the shoulder. And I want to make a point that Levi did not kill his own son. It was just, he was already dead, I think, from this thing attacking him. And after he had shot, this thing came over and got a hold of Levi, and I believe is how he killed him, was he either bit him or broke his neck, one or the other. I threw open the main entrance door, and I had that 410 shotgun. And when he got back into sight as he passed the main door, it just all went black, and all I did was fired, and I shot, and I did hit it. And he did go down, but got back up. And this is what they found in the tree. It was not Connie. I don't know where that awful tale come from, but they did not find her in that tree.
So you're saying it was the creature itself?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I said it wasn't Connie then, it was the creature itself that they found in a tree.
Absolutely. Absolutely 100%. She was not found in that tree. I don't know where that story come from. After I fired, I got scared. I turned into a coward. And I rolled out the front step. Stephen was just in front of me. I rolled up underneath the motorhome and into the framework. At that same time as I was leaving the motorhome, Connie and Dan was screaming. And I knew they were whatever with the other one. Now, I want to point out, I seen the one I hit, but I didn't see the other one. But there had to have been two, because whatever it was, they were screaming, "Oh my God, it's coming through the window." I heard that coming through the window, and I just figured that Connie and Diane were on their way with me. In other words, they would be running with, following shortly behind, but they didn't. And that's when that whatever it was got a hold of them. And it wasn't, I could hear it through the floorboard, through the bottom. It was muffled, but I could hear it. And Jesus. And it was over fairly quick. And after about, I suppose, I don't know, time was flashing. I suppose it's 15 minutes. I rolled out and I ran that whole way to the entrance. Just, I don't even know how long it took me to get there. And if you go to the entrance and I took a right. Well, right about then there was a gentleman in a blue Ford pickup. And I waved him down and I just sunk into the floorboard. And I told him what happened. And he was just, oh my God. And the trip that he took me on, I suppose, to his farm was probably, it was short. I suppose it was 15 minutes maybe. Everything was a real short distance. And I told the gentleman what happened. And, there need to be ambulances, whatever, to get out there. And he almost acted like he knew. Very calm. We got to his residence, which was a farm, and I stayed in the kitchen area, and he went and made a phone call. And there again, I don't, because the wife was there, so I don't know who actually made the phone call, but it was actually kind of a lengthy conversation. And, they tried to comfort me the best they could, and then I suppose it was like 40 minutes later, these gentlemen showed up. I don't want to say they were FBI because I don't know. The people that were there, they had absolutely no identification as far as being FBI or anything like that, but they absolutely were not local police. There was no state police, anything like that there. They're the ones that did take me back to the campground, and they were actually quite nice to me. They did not threaten me in any way, shape, or form, and they just simply asked, what did you see? What did they look like? About what you're asking me. Everything that I knew, and the only thing that was ever said to me was, at best just to forget about it and move on. But I was never threatened in any way. The people that were there on site when we got back, they had to have been close by because that short a time, there was quite a few people. Now, I don't want to say there was hundreds of people there or anything, but there was a lot of people there. And they looked like National Guard, but there was no, there was no markings. I mean, they were in, camouflage or whatever like that, but there wasn't hundreds of men forming a line and trying to find this thing, or it was more of I guess just fact finding. There was some larger military vehicles and stuff like that there, but nothing was marked. Usually there's something marked on the side, like those big trucks with a star or something like that, or something. I guess, maybe I'm thinking vintage World War II, but there was nothing there to say that they were National Guard, but I just assumed it. And I did see the inside of the motorhome, and I did see her. I seen Diane, and she was definitely dead, but she was not tore up like these fantastic stories that are out there now. There again, it looked like just like something got a hold of her neck. she was in bad shape. There's no doubt, but they weren't ripped from limb to limb. Their heads weren't severed. Nothing like that. Those fantastic stories are just flat out lies. And I guess what else would you like to know, guys?
Where was Connie at this time?
I did not know because I did not see her in the motorhome, but I had later found out that she was actually in back of the motorhome, outside, and they found her actually down by where Levi and Stephen was trying to collect the wood when this thing or these things come up out of the ravine. And that's where they found her. They did not find her in a tree.
But now, when we talked earlier, you said that the creature that was found dead in the tree actually had a piece of her sweater in its claws. Is that correct?
That is correct. Like I said, it was just a little bit chilly still, and I think she might have taken her sweatshirt off. I'm not sure, but it was just a green sweatshirt, and they did find a small piece of the sweater in its claws or whatever you want to call them, whatever this thing was.
And I suppose the next thing that everybody's going to want to know is, could you possibly describe the creatures? Were they more doggish in nature, more like a Sasquatch? Did they make any noise or anything of that nature?
No, not much. No, there was, I could hear heavy breathing and things like that, but there was no, guttural growls or gnawing of teeth or, the only sound it made was when it was hit. And it did make kind of a high-pitched screech when Levi shot it. But that was the only noise that it made. As far as how they looked, like I had told you guys, they looked more like a very athletic man in a hairy suit. Real thick thighs, big upper body, shorter snout. The ears were more down. Instead of being clear up on their head, they were more kind of, spaced down a little bit. You could the glimpse that I got of the one, you could see teeth, but they weren't, hanging clear out of their head and stuff like that, like people think. And I suppose they were as tall as 6'4", 6'5", as a good sized man. They weren't these great big huge giants that I've heard. And I'll be totally honest, I haven't really read into what a lot of about this story, because I just assume it's been a mountain out of a molehill, so to speak. So I've really only done any research just here as of recent when I knew it was time to say something.
The legs, could you describe the legs? Were they human or dog-like?
And maybe the feet as well?
Yeah, they were more human. The like I said, the thighs were thick, and the calves and the feet were kind of weird. They were long and narrow. They looked like a human foot, but they were long and narrow. And this thing had, the hands were oversized. I'll say that. They were bigger, proportion in the body, but they didn't have huge, long, 8-inch claws or anything like that. I suppose they were, a couple inches at most. And to be honest, that's why I really thought, even years after, to be quite honest, that these were people in suits robbing or trying to murder us. That's what I had thought. And at that time, I knew nothing about dogmen and still don't know a lot about them, to be quite honest.
Let's see. What do we want to know now, or what do we need to know, or do we think people would need to know? Is there any reason why the family shouldn't have been identified?
No, there isn't, and that's a thing that bothers me, because if there was all these people there, like state police and local police and so forth, there was more than enough personal evidence in that motorhome to let people know who they were, and there was a lot of money, because I think because of how they left the Amish community, from what the little bit Stephen did tell me about it, was that they had sold off the farm and their property to the Amish community itself. So they had quite a bit of money to buy these, buy this motorhome to live in, and I know for a fact, even for back then, which is a lot of money, there was at least $20,000 in cash in a small safe in the motorhome, as well as checks that had their names on it. The motorhome and the tow vehicle had plates and registered. So if they wanted to know who these people were, they know. They would have known. So why they're just non-existent. It just evaporated. I have no idea why, and that's why I'm doing this, is to let people know that this is real, and they were real people.
Can you tell us a little bit about them to kind of humanize them?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I do know of. And like I said, the nicknames was Lizzy and Fanny girl. So I'm thinking, because they left the Amish community, I'm thinking that was probably their real names. That's just my opinion, not for sure. But because we spoke, and Diane and Connie is definitely not a traditional Amish name. Levi is, and I think Stephen might be, but they were just the dad. Levi was real strict, no nonsense. One of the things I did notice was when he talked, they seemed to always look at the ground, or don't, not look at him. So I guess that's a dominance thing, or just discipline. Diane was really quiet. I mean, I really don't know a lot about her, so I knew Stephen the most, or the best, I should say, and because we shared the same interests, and that's kind of, and he's just a couple years younger than me. Like I said, he was 13 and I was 15. Fishing and hunting and all that kind of good stuff. And Connie she was just a sweet little girl, sweet kid, innocent.
What age was she, if you don't mind, Roger?
I believe she was 9 years old.
Do you know a hair color or anything of that nature?
Yeah, they were all light brown hair, all of them were.
And Roger, just to interrupt for a second, since this isn't live, if you need to take a moment for yourself to get a drink or kind of catch your breath or anything like that, feel free to.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm fine. I hope I'm not making a fool of myself.
No, you're doing
fine.
I'm trying to think of any questions that I know that the audience would want to ask.
I think they're probably going to want to know if there was anybody else at the RV park at the time.
No, we were the only people there, as far as I know. And like I said, we weren't there long enough to go out and explore and things like we wanted to. That was going to be for the next morning, and go out and explore and fish and target shoot if we could, things like that. So everything just happened so fast. As far as I know, there wasn't a soul there.
And did you happen to notice any of the structures that were up there?
The only ones that I seen were because we were in the last parking area, if I remember right, and the only one I seen, there was like a cement structures, or maybe two of them, and I don't know if those were bathrooms or shower houses or what they were, but I do remember seeing those.
And I assume this is a little different from the so-called bunkers, right?
Excuse me?
I assume what you're talking about is different from what they call the bunkers, right?
Well, I guess I'm not familiar with what the bunkers are, but they weren't bunkers, I don't think. No, they were actual, like, shower houses and things like that, or bathrooms.
Okay, further down the hill, there's these little concrete foundations. They're still up today, but it's just a little spot to step in.
Oh, okay. Yep, I understand.
And they just somehow got the nickname bunkers over the years.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. No, these were definitely structures, made for facilities.
Oh, okay.
And you were not very far from the cemetery, were you?
No, the cemetery is right where you pull in. It was kind of catty corner, if I remember right.
Right. That's pretty much it. Was it a very pretty campground as near as you could tell at the time?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't see when we were coming in very much, just looking out the window and stuff we were pulling in, but, the little bit that we were outside, yeah, it was beautiful. Yep. It had full electricity, if I remember right, and it even had water supply, light poles, things like that, so it was set up to be nice. I look back now and wondered if we were even supposed to be there, if the place was even open for camping at the time. But I guess that's neither here nor there. But no, it would have been or was a beautiful place.
Now, this is going to be a shade random, but when you seen the creature, did you get any kind of a smell off of it? Oftentimes, when people report them, they'll describe a skunky smell or just a horrible smell coming off of them.
Yeah, no, I sure didn't. I didn't get any kind of smell or anything like that. Nothing like that. I apologize.
And you said they were more canine than Sasquatchish.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It to me, like I said, they were just they look like somebody in a great big German Shepherd suit.
You had actually sent me a picture of what was the closest picture you'd ever seen of what they might have looked like. And
Right.
I would like to include that in this video, but I think that's someone's private artwork, so I couldn't put it in the video. I might be able to include it in a comment if that's possible. Is that possible, Elijah?
Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't do that.
Okay.
We could probably share it to our Facebook and Instagram, though, for anybody interested.
Who is interested in it, so they could kind of get an idea.
Not trying to share our social media platforms or anything like that. Just that's the one.
If anybody was interested in seeing it.
The place we know we could share them to.
Now, do you know what direction the creatures came from?
I assume they came up from the ravine. 'Cause like I said, I was inside the motorhome at the time. So, and Stephen and Levi was just like 100 feet back or so collecting wood. And so in order for them to run up, it had to have been coming up from there, chasing them up from the ravine up.
So they would have almost had to have seen the things coming.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That I totally believe that.
Now, can you describe the inside? Because this will probably be important to some people. Can you describe the inside of the vehicle? The
motorhome?
layout, yes.
Sure. You go through the main entrance door, which is on the side, be the passenger side. You step in, and to the very right was the driving cabin, the driving area, things like that. Right above that, where it'd be right, where your head is was a fold-out bed of some kind. I think you had more storage up is what they were using it for, but anyway, that was a bed. And to the right in front was the fold-out couch type thing, and it made it into a bed. To the left, there was the open kitchen area. That's where the sink, kitchen, things like that were. And then on the other side of that was the dinette, and that's where you ate and things like that. And that also folded into the bed. Short hallway. On the left was a storage area, cupboards, things like that. Directly across to the right was the bathroom, and straight to the rear was the main, or the master bedroom, or the main bedroom, if you want to call it that.
And could you describe the back window?
Yeah, the back window was kind of odd. It was bigger. I think it was almost full sized, and then I'm trying to get this correct. So I believe it had a full, like a shade or awning that came down all the way over the back during transport. Then when you get to your site, you could fold that up and have access to light and air and things like that. Then there was a couple. Let's see, two more windows, I believe, on each side in the bedroom.
For the model that you said that you thought they had, we looked it up, and that description is 100% accurate.
It's perfect.
Yeah, matches completely. Now, there's a rumor, or has become part of the story, that possibly some sort of cologne or perfume may have played a part in the attack.
And that's impossible because they didn't wear cologne, perfume. Diane didn't even wear makeup of any kind. So, no, absolutely not.
Okay, was there any strange noises that you guys might have been making that might have attributed it or contributed?
Nope. Like I said, I was inside. The only thing that could have attracted their attention, I guess, it was Levi and Steven out, collecting wood. And like I said, he had a little short-handled, double-headed axe that he used, and that's the only thing I can think that would have got their attention. Just simply the noise.
Had you started cooking yet, or anything? Built a fire?
No, actually, well, she was getting the pan. No, there wasn't even a fire because he didn't even get the wood gathered. And Diane was just getting stuff on the stove, but nothing was opened. There was no canned food opened. No meats were out, anything like that. She was just getting the cooking ware out.
And did you guys pull in or back in?
Into the site itself?
Yes.
We backed in. I helped Levi disconnect the Chevette, and the hitch thing kind of folded up into the front of the car. We backed that up, left that in the road, and then Levi backed the motorhome in, and then self-leveled it.
Do you remember anything about the weather that day?
We were wearing sweatshirts, so it was a little cool. I think there was a little bit of a breeze going on. I'm trying to think about the like if it was overcast. I'm pretty sure it was overcast, but I almost think it was a full moon or getting close to being a full moon.
And what was the date of this event and roughly the time that it started, Roger?
It was April 7th, 1982, and the time that it started was 5, 6 o'clock, I believe, because it was getting dark, but was not dark.
It's probably about twilight time, right?
Yes.
Because around here, around April 7th, it would get dark somewhere close to about 7:15, 7:30. And being down there and laying between the lakes, it would definitely 5 or 6 o'clock start looking dark and twilightish.
Right. Yeah, because when I thought everything was safe and I left underneath the motorhome running, I know it was getting almost to the point where it was getting hard to see. So it was getting dark fast. So my time might be off a little bit, but not much. And there again, I'm just, it was a long time ago, and I'm trying to estimate the best I can. But I could still see, but it was hard.
And you said that you got up in the framework of the vehicle when you hid. What part do you mind telling us?
When I rolled up underneath, I found where the framework was between the main drive shaft and the frame, and I just straddled that. I actually straddled my left leg. I flipped it over, and my arm over the drive shaft. Then I put my right leg and stuff in the framework. So I was actually suspended above the ground.
And you said you stayed there about 15 minutes until things, I guess, calmed down or something?
That's what it felt like. Yeah, 15 minutes or so. It could have been a little bit longer. It wasn't any shorter than that.
And I take it there was no indication that it ever sensed that you were underneath the motorhome or anything like that?
No, no, nope. Otherwise, I would have probably been dead.
Well, Roger, I know you've expressed some guilt about hiding, but it seems to me like you've probably done the sensible thing and saved your own life. I don't think there's anything you could have done to help them.
No.
No, but I look back on it, and it's you think, could I have grabbed I don't know, grabbed the shotgun that was that Levi was laying on. I mean, it was probably 5-6 feet from me when I went underneath. I could have grabbed that, I guess. There's a lot of things I could have, should have done, but didn't, and I feel that I failed them.
Well, you've had
kind of why I guess my life has felt like that up until recently, and I'm just getting everything off my chest. So,
if there's one thing that you could clear up, Roger, about this whole mess, what would it be?
it would. The thing that bothers me the most is how they say Connie was found in the tree. And the other thing that bothers me is how they said Diane was torn from, just completely tore to pieces. Well, they said they all were, but the worst thing is Connie. That just it just sticks in my head horrible. That they made a story saying that I guess it was a law enforcement or something walked underneath her and the blood dripped down on him or something to that effect, I think is what they said. Sickens me.
And you're saying that definitely is not true?
That is absolutely not true. And I'll stand toe-to-toe with anybody that says it is.
Well, hopefully it will never come to that, Roger. After you were brought back to the site on the night of the incident, what happened to you after that?
I was taken by two men. The one was named Walt. I don't remember the other one. Very nice. Like I said, they didn't threaten me in any way, shape, or form. We took a drive. There again, time is going to be a little off, but I think it was probably, 45 minutes drive. And the town, I'd mention it to you, and you'd think you might know where it's at, but it started with an H, but there was a small municipal airport there.
Possibly Hopkinsville?
Yes, I think that is it. I think that's what the name of it is. If the time and distance sounds right, but it did start with an H. I was gonna say like Hopeville, but it could be Hopkinville, like you said. I was taken there, and there was a small structure, cement block, I believe it was, about the size of a good size double stall garage, just perfectly square, and there was two cots in there, a real small stove and bathroom and things like that, and that's kind of where I was. I don't want to say I was held, because they didn't, I wasn't being held there. That's just where I was kept until my uncle was flown in, and I don't know, didn't talk a whole lot about it, even on the way back home or there much after, if these men flew him in or if he did it on his own money or what. But they were good to me. They fed me. They were pretty open. Like I said, there was phone in there, and they were trying to hide anything. A couple times I'd heard a few updates about what they thought might have been going on, things like that. But that's pretty much it. 3 days later, I was on a small twin-engine plane and landed back down home. I think we made one stop I think in Moline, Illinois, if I remember right, at the airport there. And that was it, I guess. History, as they say.
Now, did you go back to Illinois or to where you were raised?
That's Iowa. Yes, I did. Yep, I landed in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And that's where I still reside.
And Roger, did you tell anybody about this before just now?
You mean before telling you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, like your family or friends or things of that nature.
No, I kept it. The only one that really knew was my wife, and of course that was obviously years later when I got married. So, that's it. I still didn't know what I'd went through, to be quite honest, or what these things were, and I still don't. If anybody asked me, and honestly said, were these walking erect wolves, werewolves, dogmen, I wouldn't be able to answer truthfully, because they stood so much like humans. The only thing that was different about them was just the build and the hair and the things like that. So
Now, you seen the teeth. Were they canine-like teeth?
yeah, they were the one that I just got a quick glimpse of. It was a canine, yes, but there again, they weren't huge or protruding or anything like that. And I guess there was a story going around that they hauled this thing out on a flatbed trailer, and it was 12 foot tall. You got to be kidding me! I mean, who would really believe that?
It would be hard to believe that.
No. First of all, it wouldn't have been able to get with two of them. There's no way that they probably could have even got in the motorhome, number one, and being 12 foot tall, how would you maneuver to attack somebody?
We actually theorized that in our video.
Yeah, it's just what it is I think somebody got a hold of this story and heard of it and just started building on it throughout the years, and nobody ever knew the truth.
Well, I don't think anybody until right now has ever even heard the concept that there might have been a witness, let alone a survivor.
Or that there were two creatures.
Yeah, in every iteration of the story I've ever heard, there was one creature.
Yeah, no, there was definitely two. Like I said, I can't attest to seeing the second one, but I know it was there because it's the one that came through the back window and got them.
Now, when you shot the one, you said it went down?
Yes, it went down on its left side.
Was it down for long?
No. Nope. It just hit the ground and back up.
Where did you hit it, if you don't mind my asking?
Right, but as far as I remember, it was in the shoulder blade area, so the middle upper back, and that was with the 410. And if anybody knows anything about 410s, they keep their grouping pretty good, even though it was birdshot. So.
And I seem to recall you mentioning that it wasn't actually fur; it was hair, correct?
Absolutely, it was not fur; it was hair. It was like long human hair.
And
just jet black hair.
What was Steven using? He's using a 20 gauge pump, but do you know what kind of shot maybe he had in it?
Well, Steven wasn't. That was
not Steven. I meant Levi. I apologize.
That's fine. Yeah, that was Levi. Yeah, it was a 20 gauge pump, and I don't know. I assume it was just bird shot.
And when we had talked, and you said that he fired and he hit the creature, that it made a really awful noise, like a high-pitched scream.
That's right. That's the only time it really made any noise, and it did make a real high-pitched, abnormal scream when it was hit. And he dropped Steven, but I think Stephen was probably already gone by that time.
Did it have him lifted off the ground, or could you tell, or?
Stephen?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
yeah. It was like he had him in almost like in a chokehold, to be quite honest. And I do believe he was bit. He was either bit on the neck or the spine, or he literally broke his neck. But he did have him off the ground.
Now, do you know if the family's next of kin was ever contacted or anything?
No, I don't, and that's something I'd like to know too. I do still have a living relative that lives a little south of LaGrange, and I have just recently contacted him, and we're kind of talking again, and he's kind of checking things out for me. I don't know a whole lot about the Amish world or their rules, regulation, their lifestyle. I don't know. I guess that's maybe something that the listeners could check out, or you could, but I don't know if you leave the community, if you just don't exist. I mean, I have heard that if you leave the community, they're so angry at you, you just don't exist.
I think they call it shunning.
Yeah, it might be. I'm not sure. I heard it called something else, but I think it was excommunicated or something like that is what I thought I'd seen, but maybe that's completely different. But
That's a word that's also used for that. I didn't know the Amish used it, but
yeah, I'm not sure either. But that's the only way. That's the only thing I can tell is why these people just did not exist. And where did everything go? Where did the vehicles go? Where did they go? Where did these people go? What did they do with them?
I don't know. If anybody out there knows, I wish you'd give this man some closure.
That's all I want. This doesn't need to be glamorized any further. The people that are making up these horrible stories to make it sound gruesome to benefit themselves or to make the story sound better, it's shameful. I wish they'd stop.
Roger, I'd like to say something that will corroborate a little bit of what you're saying. Now, I know you haven't given the family's last name on this show, but you did tell us the last name.
Yes.
And I done some research, and that particular Ordnung there in around LaGrange, one of the top 3 family names is actually the last name of the family.
Yeah, I believe it. It's there's a heavy Amish presence there in LaGrange.
But is there anything else you would like to tell us? How has this affected you over the years? I mean, have you just been able to kind of shut it out, or is it with you all the time? Have you had to see a psychiatrist or anything? Because I can't imagine how a person comes back from that.
No, I've never seen a psychiatrist or anything like that. I shut it out, but I remember it every single day of my life. Every single day of my life, and that's no joke. Even when I have a good day, it's there. And like I told you, I don't want to, disrespect any veterans and compare myself with them, because I'm not. But I have a feeling it's kind of what maybe a veteran has seen when they'd seen battle or seen something bad. It's just always there. You wake up and you don't see your room at night. You see them, or you see that happening, and you figure it would get a little bit better as time passes, and I guess it does, or it has, but it's still there. I wake up and they're there.
Well, you could never ever plan on something like that happening, but I think you've taken it remarkably well. What did happen?
Well, it's my faith in God and my Lord Jesus Christ and my family.
And Christ provides the ultimate healing.
Yes, He does.
Roger, have you ever thought about revisiting that land?
Yeah, I actually thought about it back in the it was the late '80s, but I couldn't, just wasn't man enough, I guess, lack of better terms. I just was too scared. But I think I'm going to, and not only do some soul searching, I want to find out what happened to them. And I told you kind of what I thought my gut feeling was. And I don't know if that's something you want me to mention or not, but
That's up to you. Like we've always said, this is your story to tell the way that you want to.
Yes, absolutely.
I have a gut feeling that they never left, and by that meaning, I think that they were either buried there, cremated and buried there, or the other thing is they might be in a cemetery close by. But I just have that, like something's pulling me, telling me that they're there. And I am going to make the trek. I don't know if I'll do it yet this year, but I definitely will next.
Well, if you come down, we're about an hour away. We'd love to go with you if you would have any interest.
I would be honored.
And I suppose next time we're down there, in the meantime, if you ever just want to see the landscape, we could video chat with you and just show you what the land looks like now.
Yeah, that would be great. I understand it's really changed. I guess the park's not even there anymore, or you can't get to it, or something to that effect, I guess.
Well, where now you've seen our video and you said we seem to have the right spot.
Yes, you do.
It looks extremely different from what I would imagine that it used to look like. You can see the site where there's been several buildings look to have been bathhouses or bathrooms that have been demolished. There's several like light poles that have been cut down and such.
And something I'm kind of wondering about, I doubt you could have seen it because of the time of day, but we found evidence of a pond there. Did you see anything like that?
I sure didn't. No, I'm sorry. I didn't see any pond or anything like that.
It was off toward the edge of the woods, actually.
Yeah, like maybe it had another road that might have circled around somehow and went down around it. Of course, I guess if the landscape was altered, it could have just water pooled there and cattails and such grew.
Right.
But because I've heard that they done like a lot of restructuring the land there.
Yeah, because myself personally, I never left. The farthest I was out and about was just around the campsite itself. That was it. Levi and Stephen were the one that ventured down, to the rear to get, to get some firewood. But Diane never left the motorhome, and I was out for a while helping, but then I'd went inside because I was, all pumped up to go target shooting.
You said that Stephen had not Stephen, but Levi had dropped his axe on the way back from the woods as well.
Yeah, well, it was actually left to the back of, and there again, I seen it. I shouldn't say that. I thought I seen where it was at, and it was in the side of a tree that was already down. It looked like he'd just, how you just take an axe and you just, just hammer it in there just to have it somewhere to rest while you're picking up wood. And I think that's what he did. And that's where it was. And that was still to the back of the camper where they were getting the wood.
All right. Yeah, I know we're asking a lot of weird questions, but we know that a lot of people have questions about absolutely everything. Because I'm sure this is going to start a flurry of conversation.
I would be more than happy in the future to even do a Q&A if you guys wanted to do that.
We'd have to figure out a way to do a live show. We could do that like through a blog talk or something.
Well, you can do live shows through YouTube, and it has little chats on the side where people can ask questions, but I've never done that before.
I'll have Elijah look into that, and if you want to schedule something like that where you can talk with people, we'll see about making that happen for you.
I would be more than willing to have a civilized conversation with anybody about this, about what happened.
Well, Roger, I know this has been trying on you. Is there anything else you'd like to add? I mean, no matter how small that you can think of.
Not really. I do want to say I appreciate how you and Elijah treated me with respect and dignity, and kind of let me roll at my own pace on this. That means a lot. And like I said, getting it off my chest is in this fashion is going to help. I know it is, but I just want everybody out there that has heard these fantastic stories. It's not true. They're just not true. And deep down inside, I think everybody, or the majority of the people, know that if it sounds fantastic or out there, it probably is. So
it's still pretty fantastic, even in this telling, that something like that could happen to a person.
Sure. Well, exactly. And just the little bit of information you gave me about, like that statue you told me about, that kind of overlooks. I know it's not close to this area, but I had no idea that this animal had such a presence and such a bearing on this part of, or not so that this, but that part of the land and its culture. It just it blew me away. I didn't know there was other deaths there. I didn't know other people had sightings there.
There's alleged deaths there now. I mean, if what we've heard about, there's the potential that there could have been upwards of 13 total deaths attributed to these things. But again, each one may be a fantastical story like the retelling of yours.
And that's not counting all the actual violent cases where people made it out of there too.
Yeah, there's some cases of people we've talked to that we're not allowed to talk about that
they asked us to keep it private, and that's why we have.
That they barely escaped with their lives.
Oh my Lord! I never knew that, and that's why I say I didn't want to research it. I had no reason to.
We're planning to do a third part to our LBL series if we ever get time. We're trying to finish up with this Bell Witch thing, but we'll definitely do it. We've actually shot some recent footage to start working on a third part. But it just seems like there's constantly something else that you hear about that place.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know if it was. I guess I was there for a reason. That sounds kind of crazy, but I did this whole experience. I just there must be something about that land, and I don't know if anybody's done any historical research on it, dug deep, and I don't know if there was a Native American presence there, that maybe something was passed on through the years. But it just amazes me that that area is so prevalent.
There's a lot of tales of the bizarre down there.
Well, it's actually not just there. It seems to be Tennessee as a whole, actually.
And Kentucky.
Tennessee and Kentucky.
Large areas of this whole place was known as the Dark and Bloody Ground.
Oh Lord, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to live in a place, to be quite honest, where I couldn't take my family camping and not be worried about something like that happening.
If you ever want a really good camping spot down here that's safe, go to Montgomery Bell State Park. It's beautiful, and it's right in the
and
surrounded by people.
Stay in the campground, and you'll be pretty well okay.
There is activity of a Bigfoot presence and history.
Potentially
past,
a dog man.
But the actual campground is a really good campground.
Oh, I'll remember that.
Now, Raj, how are you going to handle this notoriety? Because you're most likely going to become either a hero or a villain after this.
I'll be blunt. I don't care. They can throw whatever they want at me. I told the truth, and that's it. That's all it is the truth. In fact, I don't even like it being called a story. But whatever they want to throw at me, I'll catch it.
Well, you're a brave man for coming forth, Roger. I just appreciate you sharing with us, and I hope we've done you justice.
Yes.
Yeah, you have. You guys really have. I appreciate how I've been treated.
And
I know.
anytime you need something from us,
Yeah, if you need anything more from us, let us know, and we hope that you stay in contact. Um,
Oh, I will absolutely. I think I've gained friendship out of this, or at least I hope I have.
well, you certainly have on my part.
my part too, you actually remind me of a good friend I used to work with, so I've always liked you.
Good, good. I appreciate that. I know if I would have went a different route with some of these other bigger, you know, research agencies or groups, it would have. I just know it would have just been for the glory, and I couldn't have that.
Well, we don't care about fame and fortune, like I said, and like I told somebody recently associated with a TV show, the same people that were talking to you, we don't just go all stars and pinwheels over the thought of being on TV or,
Right.
or talking to famous people or celebrities or anything. We tend not to get starstruck or try to put on airs or get ahead of our raising.
We are who we are.
Yeah, we are who we are.
Yep. This happened for a reason. It really did.
Well, Roger, if there's nothing else, we're gonna, I guess, cut it off here and try to edit this together and get it on as soon as possible. We wanted to have it up before the anniversary on the 7th. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the family, before you go? Anything to try to honor them?
Well, like I said, the only thing, if anything, that I really wanted out of this was to maybe have a small memorial for him there. But like you'd mentioned, people be picking it apart and stealing it and everything else. But it's all about them. They need to be remembered, not the beast that they're hunting or the event. Them, the family needs to be remembered.
Well, it sounded like they were pretty good people, Roger.
I believe they were.
Well, Roger, I'd just like to extend just a very heartfelt thank you, and I'm so sorry that you went through this. And
Yes, so terribly sorry.
we promised you we'd try to help you get your story told, and we'd try to tell it with as much dignity as we can.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, friend. You have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Roger.
You bet. Goodbye.